You know, you can't open a magazine these days without reading about detoxing. The stars are doing it. And if you're concerned about your health, I think it's wise to consider the benefits.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I've been detoxing for like 20 years, and it's really like changing the oil in your car. You know, I mean, could you imagine having a car that in 30 or 40 or 50 years you never changed the oil?
It'd stop working. I don't think it would even turn on.
No, it would operate like crap, and yet that's what we're doing to our bodies. Okay, so detoxing really gives our bodies a break and a chance to reset our digestive system.
Yeah, so on this episode, we're going to give you the 411 and the 101 and the 101 on detoxing safely and effectively.
And the 301.
What's the 301?
Stay tuned.
The graduate level.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why you want to detox each season. Now, number one is you want to do it seasonally. Chinese and Ayurvedic doctors who've been around for 10,000 years recommend cleansing with all the seasons. Okay, that's why a lot of times you get a cold when each season starts because you're full of toxins. Okay. Number two is your death starts in the colons. This is what many traditional have been around for thousands of years. They talk about that this is where death starts, okay? And so you want to take care of your colon. A lot of people say, what?
Well, when I think about the colon and death starting the colon, you've heard that, you know, I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or an urban myth that John Wayne died with 60 pounds of undigested meat in his colon. Is that true?
I don't know. It seems like it's true. I mean, that's like a small child, basically, but it seems like it would be true.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know, if you're not like cleaning out your plumbing, then eventually things are going to manifest into disease. And, you know, that heart, mind, gut, brain connection is something that we all now know about. And so, you know, cleaning out your gut is probably a good idea.
Well, I mean, it's a good point because, you know, meat eaters, like if you look at an animal that eats meat, like a lion or whatever, they have very short colons. But vegetarian animals like, you know, rhinoceros or an elephant, they have very long colons. So our colons are typically like 28 feet, or our intestines. So you know, we're not meant to eat meat. We're meant to eat herbs and plants. You know, a lot of doctors say, you know, you don't need to detox. And it's really important that we begin to take responsibility for our health because, you know, here's the bottom line. The bottom line is, you know, for decades we've been spending more money than any other country in the world on health, and yet as a country we're number 38 in the world. We're like last among industrialized nations. So something is not being done correctly. Okay? And so you could either be a statistic and be the person that says, oh, I thought my doctor knew. No, he doesn't know. That's why you need to take responsibility for it.
I mean, unfortunately, most doctors get, 5 hours of nutritional training?
Yes.
You know, in medical school. You know, they're there to teach us, you know, how to reinfuse blood in the system if you get in a car accident, or to, you know, set a cast, or to, you know, do things that are about emergency medicine. So what this is all about is preventative medicine. You know, the majority of people, I think you told me this, spend, I think, 90% of the amount of money and energy that they spend on their overall health throughout the course of their life in the last 10% that they're alive. You know, so
to stay alive.
To stay alive, right. And so that's like elderly people in hospitals, things are breaking down, and that's when we throw all the money, you know. And so this is really about spreading some of that out, doing it seasonally, and just taking responsibility back. You know, it's our patient right. You know, we have a right to take care of ourselves, and then we don't need to rely on our doctors. And we can go to them, you know, when I want to get my blood work up and I want to see how my vitamin D is, I go to the doctor. You know, for everything else, I see the Ayurvedic doctor, I see the Chinese doctor, because they can tell me so many more things that I need to know. And detoxing is a big part of that, including some of the environmental toxins. That's some of the things that affect us too, right?
Exactly. There's like 10,000 chemicals out there, and there's only regulations for a couple hundred. So it's really important that we take responsibility for it.
Yeah, not to mention what you put under your skin. I mean, it's a lot. So if the thought of detoxing scares you, I know there's a lot of information. Don't be afraid. You're not alone. Years ago, when Michael and I first started detoxing, you know, I was pretty much eating everything and never detoxing, and it was really scared. It terrified me. I learned a lot of information about unhealthy detoxes and those scary water-only fasting and 8-day cleanses and the master cleanse, all these really extreme detoxing systems to help you lose weight fast, but then your body is completely depleted. So we're going to show you a couple basic tips that you can use every day for detoxing so that you can simplify sort of some of this scary information. So first thing that we do is at the top of every single day, start your day with something that's going to alkalize the body, alkalize the blood. So the acidic body is what creates disease. disease. It creates sort of reduced, suppressed immune system. So one of the things we do is start our day every morning with lemon water. So you can do this by hand like I do, just cutting up a couple lemons, ideally one full lemon. Okay, and then squeezing the juice of that lemon into a glass of water, ideally filtered water, and you can use this little handy tool to do that.
Or a juicer.
Or a juicer, which I've got over here.
Now, what makes the body alkaline is herbs and those types of things, and what makes the body acidic,
refreshing,
is meat.
Yes.
Meat and dairy makes your body acidic, and then your body naturally will balance itself and try to balance itself to get to a level of homeostasis. You all heard that, right? A level of balance with alkaline, okay?
Yeah.
So
we start out with lemon water. Here's yours.
Thank you,
every
dear.
day. So that kind of like soothes the digestive system, kind of helps to get things moving. If you're constipated, have a glass of lemon water. You'll see that'll go really, really quick. And if you can use water that has a high pH, this is one brand. There's many out there where the water is more alkaline, and so it's much more hydrating. So that's much better than like your typical tap water, and even better than purified water or filtered water. So once you have your lemon water, then we move to fresh fruit. So ideally water-bearing fruit like apples and grapes, melons, not bananas ideally, just because they kind of stick to your system a little bit more. So again, the fruit is just another layer to help move with the fiber, anything that's going on in your digestive system out.
Before 10 a.m.
Yes, ideally.
Eating fruit, or really before noon, you should be eating all fruit as much as possible, because that's when your body is naturally trying to eliminate.
Yeah, it's I think between morning and the hour of like noon, that's when the body is in its natural. The body has different rhythms, circadian rhythms, so that's the cycle that the body is actually trying to purge and detox. So if you fill your body with like sausage and egg McMuffins and like a lot of dairy and a lot of gluten, you're actually stopping your body's natural ability to detox. So having fruit, and then once you've had your lemon water, once you've had your fruit, then we love to start every day with our special sweet green detox smoothie, which we have here. It's delicious. It's got everything the body needs, full of fiber. We've got hemp seeds and a bunch of things. You can find the recipe.
Spirulina.
And spirulina, yeah, that's what makes it green. The recipe's on our website. It's also on our detox book. But this is, you have a couple sips of this.
It's so good too, because when you drink it, you don't feel like you're detoxing.
So filling.
It's like, okay, this is so good. It's delicious. It's sweet. It's filling, and yet I'm still detoxing.
Yeah. Well, now you've got the basics, how to start. Don't go away, because coming up, we're going to show you how to dive deeper into detoxing safely and effectively. I think I'm going to do a little more lemon water until then, though. What do you say?
Let me join you. Cheers.
Don't go away. Okay, we're back. So how do we dive deeper into detoxing? When it comes to detoxing, it's all about the do's, what you should do, what you should eat, and the don'ts, what you shouldn't do, what you shouldn't eat. So Michael's going to walk us through some of his favorite do's and don'ts, and I might add a couple of mine too.
I think you might. So, part of it is, you dig your grave with your fork. So how you consume and what you consume makes all the difference in the world to what kind of detox you have, and are you detoxing? So let's start off with some of the key things. No gluten, no caffeine, no alcohol, no smoking of any kind, even if it's herbal blends, no processed sugar, and most importantly, no meat and no dairy, okay? So just throw all those out for the period of time that you're going to detox, okay? So do's, a whole food plant-based diet. Now, if you want to blow your mind and really want to know about detoxing and the power of diet, there's a great book called The China Study, okay? It was one of the most comprehensive studies ever done on diet and the impact on chronic disease and diet by Dr. T. Colin Campbell. It'll rock your world. So you want to focus on a whole food plant-based diet. Salads, fruits, legumes, grains, lots of water.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Water, and alkalized water, ideally, with the high pH,
Yeah,
with 7 or above. A lot of people, when they hear some of these do's and don'ts, the paleo diet, they think that's exactly the opposite of the paleo diet. In paleo, I can eat meat, and I can eat dairy, a little bit of dairy, as long as it's like raw from the whatever. Paleo diet, not the most healthy diet, guys. It's one thing to lose weight. It's another thing to actually be healthy. What's happening in your arteries, Just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're healthy. So a lot of people feel a little overwhelmed when they think, okay, these are all the things I can't do. The beautiful thing is we've got tons of delicious, very satisfying, very wholesome and healthy substitutes to some of those things that you can't eat. We've got them all here on the counter. Some of our favorite foods that don't have processed sugar, are gluten-free, dairy-free, and all the other bad stuff free. So.
Yeah, well, I think, also a lot of people get freaked out about protein. And they're like, oh, what about protein?
Yeah.
And the deal is this, okay? Your recommended daily allowance of protein should be 10%, okay? If you eat a whole food plant-based diet and no meat, you're going to wind up around 10 to 12% of protein in your diet. Everything has protein. The problem is that for 150 years, our society has been really brainwashed by this idea that we need to get more protein. But the issue for you is going to be having too much protein, okay? So if there's too much protein, then you're actually going to have an issue in your life, because it's the protein that creates, science has shown that it's the protein that creates the issues with your body.
The animal protein.
The animal protein, thank you. And it doesn't happen with plant-based protein, but it does happen with animal protein, okay? So that's why we want to get animal protein, we want to get dairy out of the diet and focus on alternatives. Now, there's never been a better time to be detoxing because there's so many great alternatives. There's amazing gluten-free vegan bread, okay? So if you need your toast in the morning, we got you covered. A lot of the chips and stuff like that, people say, oh, I love my chips and things like that. Most of them are gluten-free. Most of them you can do on your detox. Again, if you're not eating dairy, you're not eating meat, you're not eating caffeine, you're not eating alcohol, you're not eating or smoking whatever you smoke, your body's going to go through some dramatic changes over a period of time, okay? There's some great dairy products. You can have ice cream. Okay, Ben & Jerry's has this great non-dairy almond milk ice. It's so good.
It's delicious.
We were chowing on that last night.
It's like peanut butter, cookies, and cream or something like that.
Yeah.
All vegan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So from that perspective, there's a lot of options. Even sugar. People say, oh, you can't have sugar. Yes, you can. It's got to be whole food plant-based. Again, we're talking about the science here. Mm-hmm. We use maple syrup. We use agave. We use coconut nectar. These are all sugars, but they're naturally occurring. So with each, it's refined sugar that you're going to have issues with, okay? With each nutrient, there's 100 or 50 other nutrients or 25 other nutrients that are interacting with your body.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is that, a lot of this can be overwhelming, but the fact is you really have no excuse not to take a step. It's like pick one thing. And part of it, it's trial by error. You live and learn. You try out one type of bread, maybe you don't like that. You try out a different type of mayonnaise, maybe you don't like that. And then you begin to sort of become more accustomed to listening to your body and how it responds to different things. Obviously, if you want to lose weight, a lower fat diet is definitely going to help you do that. Not everything on this table is low fat, but it is free of animal protein, it is free of dairy, it is free of refined sugar, and that's a step in the right direction. Now, a lot of people, they think, oh God, caffeine, I can't give up my coffee. Well, we've got lots of great alternatives. Yerba mate is a wonderful one. Michael used to drink black coffee this tall 3 times a day, and he'd get these like red veins on his forehead every single time he did it. Well, yerba mate now, he can drink a double yerba mate and there's no issues. We've got ginger tea, dandelion tea, a lot of things that still give you that energy without like throwing your body completely out of sync. So it's just about being open and willing to experiment with different ways to eat and realizing that you don't have to give up, sort of the comfort food and the satisfaction that many of us get from eating. You can eat healthy, you can detox, and still enjoy wonderful, tasty, delicious food. So
absolutely. Lots
of options here. Gives you some food for thought, but coming up, we're going to show you how to think about detoxing your environment. Your skin's the largest, most absorbent organ in your body. What about personal care products? That counts too. So don't go away. We're going to show you how you can detox everything in your medicine cabinet. We'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we've committed to a detox, but what about our personal care products? What about the products we use to clean our house? Yeah. It matters. If you think about your skin, it's the largest, most absorbent organ in your body. And the things that we put on the skin go right into our bloodstream, and over time, those chemicals begin to bioaccumulate and your body doesn't recognize them, so it doesn't know how to release them and process them. And that's where the bloating comes from, and a lot of the degenerative diseases that we see, from breast cancer to ADHD, Alzheimer's, all of them have been linked to petrochemicals in our everyday products. So starting out first with cleaning products. In your home, you don't want to be breathing chemicals. Think about looking for products that when you turn around a label that you can actually, read and understand what each ingredient is without having to have a PhD in chemistry. That's a good start, right?
Right. Or if you just go to like a healthy grocery store, they're going to have the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to make sure that there's no phosphates, no parabens, no sulfates, and just think about something that's going to be a little more natural. The beautiful thing is that it still will clean your clothes just as well. Yeah. And the same is true for your hair products or your beauty products that you use, from nail polish to makeup, foundation, even hair dye. And of course, if you're relaxing, it's time to go natural, girlfriends, or if you're perming, just start to embrace what your natural texture is. You might be surprised what you find under there. I was surprised. I didn't realize my hair looked like this until I stopped
unnatural
relaxing.
Shampoo. And
all his hair fell out, so yeah. So lots of different options. And of course, with your bathing, your regime, it's important to think about putting things on your body, like soaps that are not going to strip the oils, the natural oils, and can cause actually allergic reactions. Some of the sulfates that make products like our toothpaste and our soap really sudsy. It's really, really bad. They use sulfates to clean oil off the floor of mechanic garages. So it's like we don't want to put that on your body. So we've got lots of alternatives
deodorant
here.
Too is really important.
Yeah, going right on the lymph nodes.
Yes, because the lymph nodes is where all the body is detoxing everything from your lymph. So you've got to put good stuff there, and you can't be using toxic things.
That's right, and it'll help you detox. So lots of great options here. Have fun with it. Tell me which ones are your favorite.
And up next, we're going to show you some of the best tools on the market for having a successful detox.
Don't go away.
Jinx.
Jinx. So when you're detoxing, there are many tools that you can use to support your regime, and we've outlined them right here for you.
So these are my favorite food tools. First thing is a dehydrator, okay? Now this is, may seem a little extravagant. Dehydrator is great because it allows you to cook your food while still keeping it raw, and when it's raw, it's gonna have all the enzymes. We use this thing, it's going literally 24/7, like 7 days a week.
All day, every day.
Kale chips, you name it, everything, nuts. Obviously you've got a basic juicer there, and then this is really important. This is a low-speed juicer. What's the fancy term?
Masticating.
Thank you.
Slow masticating juicer.
That's why I married
Masticate
her.
and
super
chew.
smart.
It's chewing.
Yes.
But slowly, so it keeps it raw.
Yeah, because if like this high-speed juices, they go so quick, they actually end up cooking the juice, and you lose all of the enzymes.
Yeah, they burn the juice. They burn the nutrition out of it.
Yeah. Now everybody's spiralizer crazy these days.
Spiralizer
crazy.
I need a spiralizer in my life.
Here you go. So you can throw a little cucumber on there, or no, I'd do zucchini on there, and make a little pasta if you want, okay? Of course, a great blender. Now, look, this is an awesome blender, the Omega blender. I use it every day, multiple times a day for all my sauces, the green smoothie, et cetera, et cetera. But you don't need a fancy juicer, okay? I had one for years that we got for like $20 at Best Buy or whatever, okay? So you don't need a fancy juicer, but you're going to use, a blender, but you're going to use it a lot. And last but not least is your food processor, okay? You're going to make so many things when you're eating a whole food plant-based diet using a food processor, okay? You're going to make, and we're going to make some things tonight, most definitely.
Yeah, for sure,
That's the after-hours show, okay?
And if you want some recipes where you can use these great tools, and you can check out our cookbook, and of course online at Conscious Living TV, tons of wonderful, delicious experiments in healthy eating.
Yes. So we know what my favorite tools are, but up next we're going to see what Bianca's favorite tools are. Don't go away.
It's a mystery. So I'm going to show you some of the tools you need to support your emotions during your detox. Emotional detoxing is a big part of some of the journey that you're going to experience when you're releasing some of the toxins from your body. The emotions will also follow.
Yep, because we're all emotional. Many of us are emotional eaters. I know I am. And so like you eat something, and whatever emotion you're feeling in that moment, you're actually digesting that. Woody Allen said, I love the line, he said, I don't get angry, I just grow a tumor. Okay, so think about that. So this is about the emotion, and dealing with the emotion, especially for guys, is not necessarily It's a little scary, but these tools help.
And for women too, you know, so meditation, that's one of the best tools you can utilize. We meditate every morning, every night, and sometimes it's hard to just sit still, but it's amazing what happens after the first few minutes. It's kind of like, you know, the dust settles, and once the dust settles, there's a little bit of clarity, kind of like a snow globe. When you shake it up, you're just nervous and anxious and freaked out, but once you just allow the flakes to calm down, you find a different peace, a different tranquility, and that will be something that definitely supports you in their process. Journaling is another one, using sage, smudging your space, being artistic, you know, maybe drawing in adult coloring books, doing anything that supports you in feeling more whole, in feeling more nurtured, in feeling more serene, you know, because there's a lot that comes up in your process. So you need to really exercise what we call radical self-love and radical self-compassion.
And you helped me do that. One of the things that you did was you helped me to do it through baths.
Yes, baths.
That's like you kicked me, and I love my baths.
Yeah, they're great. I love to do it with Epsom salts. It's great for getting into the joints, very healing. I feel like it clears my aura or something. I mean, it just like pulls the negative emotions out, helps to settle me. And sometimes I read in the bath and I'll just like take a little nap. It's really nice. So another tool other than baths is colonics. I know it's a little scary for some people, but you know, all that stuff that's trapped in the colon, you know, helping to get some of the matter moving.
Exercise the demons.
It really helps. I mean, that first colonic, I felt like, I don't know, I'd gone to heaven. It's amazing.
It was orgasmic.
So, and of course, we've got ear candles, dry brushing, and one of my favorites, lavender essential oils. I mean, there's tons that we have here. I love lavender. It's just very relaxing, very soothing, very healing. It's also antibacterial. So lots of tools you can use to support your emotional journey. It's just as important as the physical one, if not more important.
Yep. And it's just important to give yourself a space to say, okay, I'm going through a process, I'm detoxing, and I'm going to be healing. And so up next, we're going to talk about what to expect, because detoxing is a journey, and so you need to know what to expect. Don't go away. So now you've learned all our secrets and really what we've learned over the last 15 years from trial and error. And really the most important thing is just that you commit to a seasonal detox routine and something that you can do successfully. You know what I mean? It's like if you've never detoxed, don't try and do a 30-day raw detox, okay? You might have more difficult time doing that. You know, now we do 4 30-day raw food detoxes a year, but it took us like a decade to get to that point. So, you know, so the important thing is just get started. You want to start with something that's going to stretch you a little bit, okay, but not too far. It needs to stretch you. Second thing is you want to focus on a whole food, plant-based diet. And no, a little bit of meat or a little bit of dairy is not okay. Look at the science, read the China study. Any meat and any dairy is going to have a dramatic negative impact on your health, particularly if you're detoxing. Okay?
And it turns on cancer, it turns on diabetes, it turns on osteoporosis, it turns on everything inflammatory related, irritable bowel syndrome. So it's like you don't want a little bit of any of those. No. You want none of those. Okay?
Right, exactly. So, okay, so then you want to talk about making sure that you do seasonal detoxing. The nice thing about seasonal detoxing is it gets you in the flow of it. So you know once a quarter, okay, I'm going to be detoxing for 10 days or whatever it is, and then what we've found is that it'll gradually begin to help you make better choices. Okay, versus like a 3-day juice cleanse. Okay, that's great, but it's not realistic to just become a juicitarian, and it doesn't really have necessarily a long-term impact on your health.
So seasonally, so January 1, April 1, July 1, and October 1, every single year we begin our detox. And there's something about like aligning your energy with the energy of the seasons. It just kind of lets you let go of the old and step into the new, and it just kind of helps you be more present to, you know, the reality of what's happening all around you and inside of you. Yeah,
it's true. And so, and you had like dramatic experience, and that's really, you know, the impetus behind us writing the book that we did and creating this Conscious Living 10-Day Detox has really been your experience and what happened to you.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, you know, I had never detoxed before, and when I tried this, you know, program, for me, I was really scared, but, you know, what happened, I think, was kind of shocking. The first thing, you know, I lost like about 50 pounds. So many dress sizes, you know, ago, you know, before.
But that was over a period of time.
Oh, that was over a period of time. It was over a period of time, but I was able to make better choices. And I slowly, that was when I was able to first go vegetarian. I got rid of the meat first. It took a little while. And then it was, one time I had a tuna fish sandwich, and that tasted a little weird. So I let go of that. And then it was the dairy, and one thing at a time. With each detox, with each cleanse, I felt what it feels like to not have those toxins in my body. And it's like, until you know what it's like not to have dairy in your system, not to, sort of have a runny nose and wake up mucousy and wake up with phlegm and have bloating every single day and after every meal, you don't understand the benefits of detoxing. So it's like just giving your body a break and treat it as an experiment. Like, see what your body feels like without this particular substance. And if you feel better without it, then you can move in a different direction, and it's just being willing to be open to try different things. So for me, I went from basically going to the bathroom once a week to, having regular bowel movements. Not to get graphic, but there are a lot of people out there that aren't going to the bathroom. It's like plumbing. What goes in has to come out. If it's not coming out, it's not necessarily turning into good things as it sits in your gut. So you want to just kind of embrace the idea of change, and detoxing helps us to do that.
Yeah, and you want to see an unhappy person see somebody who's not going to the bathroom every day or multiple times a day.
It's
just
not fun.
Sucks. So
makes you frown.
It does, literally. I had a whole visual there, but I'm not going to go there. So anyway, but I think the important thing is this, guys, is that we created really at the behest of Bianca, and then a lot of people that we worked with over the years have just really wanted us to put together all of our thoughts and our experience into a protocol. So we created a 75-page online protocol that's an ebook, and it's going to give you everything that you need to know about how to detox. 15 of our best recipes, my best recipes. We have questions that are going to help you journal. All different types of things. And it also has the traditional Chinese herbal formula. Okay, so the traditional Chinese herbal formula is 2 parts. The first part is a parasite cleanse. 85% of all people have parasites. You have a dog, you eat sushi, you have parasites. Parasites create desires in your body. They create, you have sugar cravings. A lot of those are parasite related. So that's going to help you detox.
That's the first week.
That's the first week, yes. And then you're going to have a botana cleanse, which is a whole body cleanse that begins cleansing the entire body. And then we finish you off with a strong probiotic routine, okay? And so it's only 10 days. I mean, you can do this. It's not that difficult. And you have the support, you have our community, you have all of our videos. So you're really going to be supported throughout the process.
So no matter how much we know intellectually, the hardest step is putting what we know into actions. In the words of the wise Lao Tzu, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step. So go for it. I think the step I'm going to take is taking another sip of this green smoothie.
I'm ready. So happy detoxing.
Here's to your health.
Here's to your health. Cheers. Namaste.
It's good.
Onward and upward.
Yeah. Onward and upward.
Like that?
They can
This
see
one
it.
and that,
Yeah.
7th generation.
There's so many.
It's mine. Oh, my nutrition.
I won't.